DNA changes and artificial approximations of cancer, Ebola, flu, and HIV. They're doing that as vaccines because, of course, if they inject you with that and it isn't safe, they don't have any liability. And we should also understand that even when they use weakened real viruses or dead real viruses, they don't always get the response that they want. Remember this article from back in March 26 this year. Students contract whooping cough at a school that had a 99.5% vaccination rate. That's why I say herd immunity is nonsense. It's something they just made up. People are getting sick of this. They're getting sick of losing their informed consent. Even medical professionals, or I should say especially medical professionals who know better. Listen to this article from the Event Chronicle. And this is 22,000 nurses who are refusing to submit to mandatory vaccines. And we need to get these people on and talk to them. This is an organization called Nurses Against Mandatory Vaccines, NAMV, Nurses Against Mandatory Vaccines. It was founded and formed because they were alarmed when they saw mandatory vaccination policies being introduced into the workplace as a requirement for having a job as a nurse, having to get these vaccinations, which in many cases can make the nurse herself or himself contagious. They say NAMV is not anti-vaccine, but it is pro-choice when it comes to vaccines. We believe all persons should have the right to choose and refuse medical treatment, and that means nurses and healthcare workers alike. You see, that's one of the things that really galls me is that so many of these people who are introducing these mandatory vaccines will say that they are pro-choice. And the only choice they would ever give anyone about anything in their life is whether or not to kill their child. Not about whether or not to vaccinate their child, not how their child would be educated. Nothing else in your life do they want you to have a choice, to have a decision except that. And of course, you know what they're going to be pushing you for. But they point out hospital systems are required to have a 90% or higher flu shot reception rate amongst their staff, or they lose up to 2% of their funding of Medicaid and Medicare. Well, now that's interesting, isn't it? Because we had this story that was up on April the 13th. Don Salazar had this on InfoWars. There was a nursing student who had filed a lawsuit claiming that the college instructed them to threaten patients into receiving vaccines. Now, one of the things that they were told if the patients didn't want to get their vaccine shots, they told them, tell them that you will lose your Medicaid if you don't get vaccinated. And if you lose your Medicaid, you will have to pay for your entire hospital stay. See, that's where they're getting this from. They are taking Medicaid and Medicare. The government is withholding that up to 2% if they don't get 90% or more of their staff vaccinated. So then the staff looks at this and says, hey, we can lie to the patients and tell them that they will lose all their Medicaid coverage if they don't get vaccinated. Well, that's not true right now. But you wait. They're going to make it come true. Just like when that guy here in Austin says, oh, you see your sign there about banning firearms. Well, that's not true right now, but you hang on to that sign because it will become true. Yeah, they are going to start using that kind of leverage. We see this in Australia and New Zealand where they are taking welfare benefits from people who are on poor families. They're taking that away if they don't get their kids vaccinated. We also see kids getting kicked out of school in Washington State. Spokane, Washington, 150 public school students in Spokane, Washington have been booted from school for lacking documentation to prove that they were vaccinated. They say the kids could not come back to class unless they get their shots or a state-approved waiver. Why should I ever have to have a state-approved waiver for whether or not my kids have been vaccinated? And of course, they say that they think this might even be bigger because they might have over 900 students in the district who have imperfect immunization records. Yeah, we're going to have to take more vaccines if we can't prove to them that we've had our vaccines. This is a very, very dangerous, slippery slope. If they can treat you like this, they can do anything to you. If they can force you to take medical treatment, they can take all of your rights. And of course, they are taking all of our rights. The only reason they're coming for this one right now is because they have pretty much taken everything else that we have. This is one of the few rights that we still have. But when people stand up, we are seeing over and over again that the senators who have introduced these bills are withdrawing them. If you educate each other about what's at risk here, you can keep your freedom. Stay with us. We're going to be right back. We're going to take your calls. 800-259-9231.
Hi, this is Ted Anderson. Have you ever wondered why banks, stockbrokers, investment advisors won't talk about gold IRAs? They've been available since 1986, yet the financial industry won't recognize the value of gold for your retirement. Gold has outperformed paper investments, yet no word about IRAs. If you would like to have gold for your retirement, call 800-686-2237. Don't get left behind by rising inflation and low returns. Call 800-686-2237. Secure your future and call 1-800-686-2237.
Who has over 65 seed varieties of 34 different vegetables?
Down to Earth.
Who has over 63,000 seeds packaged to last 50 years?
Down to Earth.
Whose seeds can be frozen to maintain germination?
Down to Earth seeds. No hybrids, no GMOs, just proven old-time seed varieties grown all over the country by our grandparents. Our kids have the best variety and the largest quantities of vegetable seed for the best price. Get your food security now at downtoearthseeds.com or call 870-427-3039.
I want more candy. I want more video games. Line.
And it's that type of behavior that spurred me to do the research to develop a true nutraceutical formula that was designed to smooth out and help children focus. All of our children are hit with modern mind control. Television, music, fast food, GMOs, sugars, you name it. Young humans have not yet developed their nervous system and are being hammered daily by globalist concoctions. It's no wonder they can't focus and calm down and then are put on dangerous psychotropic drugs. Working with my team, we set out to find the best formula with the highest quality ingredients that children would actually like and take. We worked with the leading manufacturer in nutritional supplements that are safe for children to bring you the most affordable and powerful calming formula out there. Introducing Child Ease with herbs and calming extracts like chamomile and lemon balm and essential nutrients that taste great. Obtain your Child Ease today at InfoWarsLife.com. That's Child Ease exclusively at InfoWarsLife.com.
It's time to build your own emergency food stockpile with the industry leader, My Patriot Supply. Once you try them, you'll know why so many Americans like you have made them part of their emergency preparedness plan. Experience the My Patriot Supply difference today with this unbelievable offer. Right now, a 4-week food supply is only $99, and that includes free shipping. That's 50% off the online price. Call 800-274-3070 to claim yours. Limit 2 per caller while supplies last. This offer isn't available online, so you want to make sure and grab this opportunity to get prepared today. 800-274-3070 to get your 4-week food supply for the incredible price of only $99, and it'll be shipped to you completely free. Call 800-274-3070 right now. That's 800-274-3070 to claim yours while supplies last. Don't wait. Call today.
Finally, a hard rock album that actually says something. Envy, the self-titled CD.
We all live in a world today where things aren't what they seem. And if you think the news is real, you're living in a dream. Politicians don't run too deep to fight for you and me. They represent who cuts our checks, fulfill the corporate need. I can't stand this no more. Everything, all we see, all that we are led to believe, lies that we all must eat. Doesn't matter who you vote for, it only matters what you buy.
Available on iTunes or Amazon.com. Visit envymusic.com.
Monetary controls.
Welcome back to the Alex Jones Show. I'm David Knight, and we're going to be taking your calls in this segment. We've got people lined up to talk to us about the Trans-Pacific Partnership we've been talking about. Also, vaccines, martial law. If you want to call, it's 800-259-9231. Let's go to Tim in Florida. Tim, you said you wanted to talk about these free trade agreements. Go ahead.
Hello, David. Thanks for taking my call, and you're doing a great job. And I agree with much of what you're saying about TPP. I disagree with a bit of the rhetoric, though. certainly TPP is a major step toward a global corporate government. But a monolithic world government is not what TPP will bring in the near term.
Oh, it's true. Yeah, it's a major step, and it only has us, I think, about a half step to one step away from it. Go ahead.
Right. Well, I would compare TPP to the mortar in a block wall. The mortar doesn't replace or supersede the blocks. It's designed to adhere to the blocks, strengthen them, and lock them in. The world's regional blocks like NAFTA, they're not going to go away anytime soon. I believe they're going to be the administrative branches of the world order in there if they get what they want done. But TPP is an interregional agreement involving 4 different regions. But except for NAFTA, the other 3 blocks involved only have several nations from each region participating. So here's what will happen. Those few nations will have to take the TPP template of regulations and commitments back to their respective regional blocks. And those commitments will then have to form the basis for further negotiations to integrate their own blocks. They will be committed to them. They'll have to insist that they be implemented. In the case of NAFTA, I've got a video of Mexico's ambassador to the U.S. at the time, Arturo Sorocan, who said that since all 3 NAFTA nations are in TPP, that it will be a backdoor means to strengthen NAFTA. It won't supersede or replace NAFTA. We're not taking that jump to a monolithic world government. It's the blocks are going to have an integral part of this.
Oh, absolutely. I agree. And I think it's interesting that here we are, 20 years in, as they're going to another level of this, that they're finally admitting that NAFTA was about sovereignty all along, about unity. And previously they would only talk about that within their meetings at the Bilderberg Group or within the studies that they did at the Council on Foreign Relations, like the one I mentioned 10 years ago. But I think, when you're talking about this only being a few nations that are involved, that they'll have to do this individually, take a look at what's going on in Europe right now with what's going on with Greece. You had Alan Greenspan, you've had the PIMCO president, the world's largest bond fund, both saying that they need to get to a United States of Europe. And it's either going to be that or the EU is going to dissolve. And of course, everybody goes, oh, no, don't dissolve the EU. We need to take the next step. We need to go farther in. We need to surrender sovereignty to the EU. Once they do that, things can progress very rapidly there. And of course, we also saw that although you've got a pushback against that in the UK, even James Cameron trying to maneuver himself politically against UKIP there, who has basically made its name by pushing back against this loss of sovereignty. So the Conservative Party under James Cameron is trying to take away some of that support by saying, we're going to press for a renegotiation of the original European Union treaty. And then the European Union Commission president says, no, you're not going to get to vote on that for another 4 years, which is something that he doesn't have the authority to say. So you've already got a European Commission president who is usurping the authority that he had under the original treaty to shut down any changes to the treaty. What's your comments on that, Tim?
I agree with you, David, on that. Europe is leading the way, but some of these other regions are lagging behind, and that's what TPP is designed to do. Now, I don't know, David, I had a video in the InfoWars contest several years ago. I have an update to that. I wish you guys would watch it and focus on these regions.
Was that the one trading? Was that the one trading blocks or?
Blockheads.
Blockheads, yes, yeah. That was a very good. That was a very good one. Yeah, we need to repost that.
It wasn't a great videographic masterpiece, but I had a lot of great information in it. I've got an update that I'd like you guys to consider and consider focusing on these regions more, because it's really where it's at, and people are looking at it. But I've got an update called Global Shakedown: ISIS, Ukraine, and the New Cold War. And it will show the role of these regional blocks, all of them, how they are going to form the basis of this thing. And they're going to be around for a while and be part of this global structure, I'm sure.
Well, yeah, I'd like to take a look at it. We'll take a look at that, and people should go back and look at Blockheads, because that really does a great job of breaking down how they would consolidate these different regional areas, and then gradually, after they get regional consolidation, they would move to a larger consolidation. We're going to be right back with your calls. Stay there, Stefan in New York, as well as Richard in Arizona, Jerry in L.A. We're going to be right back with your calls. Stay with us.
We're on the march.